Wait. Hey, everybody. It's your girl, PJamma, with PJamma Life. And today, we just have the two OGs on the show. I had to put my secret decoder glasses on. And we have our buddy, guru of all things Marvel, Pat. Say hey to the people, Pat.
Hey, everybody. We got some good stuff to look at tonight. It's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. We have a diverse group of TV shows and movies. So let's get started with our first. It's an original movie based on a comic called Why the Last Man.
Agent Sarah Bergen, Secret Service.
What?
Oh my God!
Nose. Oh, I have a tissue.
Oh, it's not funny.
Oh my God!
You hear me?
Madam President, can I have a word? I'm a member of a covert task force. We only answer to the president. There's no red tape.
Don't get trapped here.
This is our home.
Okay.
Hey! So, what did you think? Patrick?
It seems like FX has a bit of a. It seems like FX has a bit of a love affair with doing soap operas about the apocalypse. Is what it feels like to me. Between The Walking Dead and this, yeah, which are The Walking Dead. If you watched it, the first several seasons was like cool. This is new. Then you realize, wait, this is just a soap opera with zombies. It's, the relationship between this person. Oh, but we got a zombie. Okay, but the relationship and this person betrayed me and this person. I mean, it gets kind of like that. And this has a certain feel of this, and when I first watched it, it reminded me of a book I read back in, I want to say the 80s, but it's a reverse of it. It was called The White Plague. It was by Frank Herbert, who wrote Dune also, when all the women in the world, except for several women, die. And the men are all fighting over the women so they can, keep the race going. And it seems like we're heading in that direction with this now. It's an interesting concept. The speed at which that virus went through, or whatever it was, went through everybody was kind of impressive, I guess. I don't know. It was very zombie. It had that zombie apocalypse feel. I mean, I get that's their brand right now. And it was good. I mean, it was well done because The Walking Dead was well done too. I mean, so it was enjoyable. I did like it. I felt I'd seen it a little bit before though.
Well, this is based on a graphic novel, and it was extremely popular graphic novel a few years ago. So there's some places this is going to take that might be a little different than the zombie apocalypse. So I think you need to keep watching, each week. But I thought it was an interesting premise because I think what happens, people think that, okay, if men rule the world, it would be this way, kind of Mad Max kind of out there. But what if women rule, there were only women left? Would it be this paradise? And I don't think so. I think because it's people, it's human nature. And you talk about soap operas, but soap operas are based on emotions and feelings of human nature. And so you get these kind of stories about betrayal and hubris and, things because that's people. And so I just think it's really interesting that even in the apocalypse with no men, there still could become a bunch of Karens out there who go around, trying to tell people people what to do, and then you have these rogue women who decide that, oh, good, now women can just take over everything, and then you get biker gangs of bad women, and so that just tells you that it's it's just human nature, that these emotions and things that go on. So, but I think it's going to be really interesting. There's last year I did a review of a Netflix movie where there was some kind of virus that went through women, kind of similar to your book, I think. And there was only one woman kind of left out in society. The men had kind of gathered up all the women and were holding them, hostage because, they were afraid that the species would end. But that's not good either. So I think with this one, with one more man left, there's women who want to keep him and then women who want to destroy him. So there's no more men, but it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I think it's looks great. It's very good cinematography, and the people involved are very talented. I have to say, the protagonist, the guy, is not likable to me at all. Like, he does stupid stuff.
Well,
and he's kind of an asshole and a jerk. And
if you're the only guy left, is there a guy better than me? No, I guess not. So I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be, and if you don't like it, well, I got 30 million other women that'll be glad to talk to me, I guess. So you can have that kind of attitude, I guess. Just like,
well, no, the things he does.
Oh yeah,
are
he's
stupid.
Terrible. He's terrible.
Dude, come on.
Yeah, he was terrible.
Yeah, he's awful. I was like, ugh, this is the last. This is what the male human species is going to
Well,
do.
I'm sitting here watching this and I'm thinking, okay, everybody's worried about, the end of the human race and everything. Okay, surely there are some women engineers out there. Surely there's some women doctors out there. What you do is you go to some place that has a sperm bank, and you grab all that stuff and you get all that together, and you get a couple engineers together, and you get a few people, keep the electricity on. Hey, you go for hundreds of years because it don't take a lot. One guy can, what they say, fertilize 3 women a day. Whereas, if it was the women way around, well, you're only going to have a baby every 9 months, or 2 babies maybe.
But if you listen to it, they said that this rogue group of women, I think in the comic they're called the Daughters of Amazons. They went around destroying the sperm banks. So there's not, a lot of sperm banks left, if any left. So, and then the book gets into some mystical reasons why this happens, which is very interesting. So I'm want to see how they differentiate between the comic and then the series. Because I think it's, the comic has some interesting some premises that, I hope they get into in the TV series. So it's got a few episodes. I think I was surprised they came out with a 3-episode drop. So, which is pretty cool. You get to really get invested in it. And then they'll do a weekly series. So definitely check out the Last Man on FX on Hulu. Okay. Let's go on to our next one, which is Paper Tigers on Netflix.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1.
Kung Fu without honor. It's just fighting.
G-O plus triple G equal every lesson you've been handed down from your own triple OGs. Always ready for the cut.
What are you wearing, man? You look like you're out of a kung fu movie or something. Whoa, no.
Rocking information, beats. Buenos noches, amigos. You sound like Adrian Broner doing a remix, amigos. You need to go to the
Yeah, buddy.
Do you know any kung fu?
All right, you got me. That was a very, very, very long time ago.
A toast to the once great Danny Eight Hands.
What are you doing?
She didn't know it's gonna say that. I didn't.
Down.
What did you think of this one, Pat?
Meh. It was
Oh
okay.
my God, we are going to have a big disagreement. But go ahead.
It was okay. I didn't care about any of these people. I thought it was. I thought the characters were shallow. It was a weak build up. I mean, I just didn't. I tried to care. I love kung fu movies, and this is just a bad one. I was not impressed.
Absolutely disagree on this.
I was not impressed at all.
This has been endorsed by Blade himself, Wesley Snipes, and a ton of other action guys.
Oh my God! So what? Wesley Snipes? You mean the one that went to jail because he thought he didn't have to pay taxes? Yeah, he's probably a good. He's probably a good judge. He's probably a good judge of this stuff. Yeah.
Okay, Wesley Snipes, who was Blade, who started the whole Marvel genre of this generation. Yes, that Wesley Snipes. Come on now, give him his props. Give him his respect.
I love Blade. I love the movie Blade. Don't get me wrong, that's a great movie. But this movie was not no Blade. I'm just going to tell you.
Oh my gosh, it was a lot of fun. It was comedy. It was drama. They had some of the funniest jokes in there, like Fat Hopper instead of Grasshopper. The insults that went back and forth were hilarious. The goof on Carter, when they busted him, he was trying to appropriate, Chinese culture, and he was saying some saying, and they were like white flour from a fortune cookie. I was like, ooh, that is some major shade. But it was also about friendship and about being true to yourself, but also some really great action sequences. So I highly, definitely recommend it. It's also something that you can watch with your family. And it's a lot of fun. So
it was okay. It was just okay.
It's a lot of fun. So definitely we have a disagreement on it.
It was at best okay.
Take my word on it.
Yeah.
Go
just
and
remember,
watch the Paper Tigers for yourself.
Yeah. It was almost as good as Mortal Kombat. I'm just gonna say that.
Definitely don't do that. So we're gonna go on to the next this week's episode of What If Killmonger saved Tony Stark.
Come on, it's okay, laugh. Hey!
Is it cool if I take a picture with you?
Yes, it's very cool. Peace. That was a spectacular entrance, seriously.
Though the man was saved, a hero was lost, and a villain was given a new chance.
I'm bringing in Lieutenant Eric Stevens, the Navy SEAL who saved my life, as Stark Industries' new Chief Security Officer.
This is such a load of bull.
All right! I'll say this for the new guy. He certainly makes for good TV, right?
So, Colonel Rhodes, what can you tell me about our knight in shining camouflage?
Well, I'd say he's done pretty good for a kid from Oakland. I mean, what's your concern, Pepper? I mean, other than the killing part.
Everyone wants something.
Okay, Pat, what did you think of this one?
I like the premise of this whole series, the interesting little twists it takes different ways. I didn't think I could dislike Killmonger more, but yeah, he's even worse if he got to live a little longer. He was a terrible person. Oh my God. Yeah. That little trailer you just showed, what happens when a villain is given a second chance? He becomes a bigger villain. Yeah, he's still a villain. And it was good. I loved it. I mean, I really thought the premise was good. It was an interesting thing. Very dark. It was dark, continuing the kind of dark trend we've had the past three episodes. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it was good to hear all the voices, get everybody back in. It had a little super small cameo from Chadwick Boseman. Did a voice for, well, of course, he had Black Panther, big surprise, until Killmonger became the Black Panther. Surprise, spoilers. It was
you really are spoiling it there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like, okay, I didn't spoil anything by saying he was a bad villain and he became an even worse villain. I'm like, oh my God, give him another chance. And this is where we're going with this. Okay. Yeah, it was a dark trajectory, but it was good. I enjoyed it. And I'm excited about where we'll keep going with this. I love the weird juxtapositions. I mean, I know from the trailers we've seen there's still a Thor episode somewhere out there. Or Thor's in, because he hasn't been in anything yet.
Right. Well, in that one episode where he tossed this beautiful hair and Coulson was like, oh, he's beautiful.
He's got great hair. No, but I mean, we haven't seen him actually as Thor.
Right.
And you see it in the trailer. So I suspect we got a Thor episode ahead of us. Don't know where we're going with that. What if Loki turned out good or something, or who knows where we're going to go with that. But I mean, there's a lot of interesting things they can go on. I'd like to see them do this for several seasons. There's so much source material they could go with from the Marvel What If comics. Well, I mean, and granted, they've kind of painted themselves into a corner, and maybe this is the way they're going to introduce the Fantastic Four. Maybe this is the way they're going to introduce the X-Men to the MCU, is through the What If. Maybe that'd be a good transition, a new media for them to come in. We'll see.
Well, I'll give you my opinion. Boo! I didn't like Killmonger in Black Panther. I thought he was the worst. And then I don't like him now becoming and winning. It's not my cup of tea at all. I didn't like how they did. I mean, now I'll say this. I agree, for those who like Killmonger and, I guess whatever he represents, this is your redemption from Black Panther. To see him, this is what would happen if he became, the anti-hero of the story. And so, of course, he's not a good guy. So I just am not a fan of people taking villains and trying to give them a redemption arc or whatever. So,
it wasn't a redemption arc. I mean, it wasn't even close to a redemption arc.
I didn't like it. I didn't like how they did my boy Black Panther. I didn't like that. Oh, and here's another thing I didn't like. I didn't understand why they made Shuri so young. She didn't. I mean, she looked like she was 12, younger than him.
Yeah, she looked 12 or 13. Yeah.
Yeah, but now one thing I can't say I disliked everything. I did like how Ramonda was a general still at the Dora Milaje and was out there completely beating everybody's ass. So I thought that was super cool.
Sure, he might have been that young, because if you think about the time frame, that was somewhere right after Iron Man 1, which is way in advance of the Black Panther movies, when you see Shuri being in her 20s. So it could have been a good 10-year gap between Iron Man 1 and maybe where we get to the Black Panther movies and stuff, or where we get in there. Killmonger, they didn't show him being really, I mean, it showed him similar age, so it's hard to say. But you look at Robert Downey Jr.
He was then about the age that he was in the movie.
In the movies,
so,
yeah.
But
so there's a little temporal disparity between the way he aged and the way Shuri was supposedly not aged or whatever. It just depends on how quick they, because I mean, if you look at the time frame from look at Robert Downey Jr. versus Iron Man 1 to Endgame or Infinity War.
Yeah, it was like 20 years.
When you get there's a lot of aging, and so I could see it maybe if they developed all that stuff fairly quickly, and Shuri would have been 12, 15 maybe, and then she's in her 20s when it would have got to the point when you have the actual Endgame. We'll see.
Yeah,
I mean,
that part I didn't like because she could have taken on, well, and I guess that's in the comics that she takes on the mantle of Black Panther for a while. So I thought it was good. I thought the ending was fantastic. I did like the ending of it. And how that all rolled out. I won't reveal what it was, but it definitely has it's a really good conclusion to it. So I did enjoy that. But one thing, did you notice, Pat, that week by week we're seeing more and more of the Watcher. So he actually came into full view this week in this episode. So I'm wondering, as the weeks go on, maybe he will intervene in one of the stories. And we'll see what happens as a result of that. So I thought that was because each week, we try to see what scene he's in. And this week he was in quite a few. And then he came into full view. So I thought that was kind of neat of them. So it's not a complete loss to me. I just don't like the Killmonger character. And I don't want to see any more stories about him. So, but people love him. So if you love Killmonger, and you think that it should have gone down this way, then you'll love this episode.
I don't think people love Killmonger. I think people love Michael B. Jordan.
No, people love Killmonger. I mean, people love his character. For some in our community, he really represents this hyper masculine and somebody who fights back against the oppressors and wins. So he represents a lot to a lot of people. So, but it's not my cup of tea. I don't like it. So, but that's why I say, if you love Killmonger, you're going to love this one. So, next we have, because we got a lot this week. Next, we have Impeachment, American Crime Story. And the title is The President Kissed Me.
Lucky you get to work in the West Wing as of this morning. And listen, you're going to be working right beside the people who run the world. Please, be professional.
Wake up. The president kissed me. What? It's really late. So go to bed, all right? Okay. Love you, beautiful.
Let me guess. The mysterious boyfriend. Still no call. When did you hear from him last?
22.5 days. Not that I'm pathologically counting. I need to look good. He's bringing me back to the White House after re-election.
Well, are you telling other people?
No, not really.
Monica?
There's this woman at my office who knows that I'm seeing someone from the administration, but she has no idea that it's him.
Are you sure?
So bright to see you.
You too, Mr. President. Congratulations, you must be so happy.
It was a great night.
This isn't about justice.
Well, then what is it about?
Impeachment, Jerome.
All right. So what did you before we start, hey, Tim Windsor, he's back. And Dwayne DeMarcos, hey, good to see you all here. And okay, what did you think of this week's episode?
It was okay. I enjoyed. I mean, it's so cringy watching this. I feel so creepy watching all this. I feel like a terrible voyeur watching this. I would also say Clive Owens as Clinton, he is not nearly as charming as Bill was. I mean, he is not. He does not get that charming. Right. He's kind of flat. I thought Colby Smothers as Ann Coulter.
Yes.
Spot on. She was awesome. She owned that. Every scene she was in, she was like pulling the camera towards her, even if it wasn't supposed to be looking at her. She was that good. And God, Linda Tripp is horrible. What a terrible person. Oh my God. This is, I don't know if she's still alive, but she doesn't want to watch this. I'm thinking. I don't know.
Right. I mean, she is just the worst. I mean, she's the worst kind of person. You can see how smart she was. She understood how the system worked. And so, and she had worked in the White House, so she understood the processes and things that were going on. But she also, to her credit, had an understanding of human nature and how to manipulate people. And so you can see throughout that thread of her manipulating the process. Why? Because she's a bitter, scorned woman. She was mad because she got kicked out of the White House and felt like she was kind of better than everybody else, and that's where she should be. And that's how you get people like this and the things that they do. What did you think of? What do you think of Beanie Feldstein's characterization of Monica?
It's just and I know Monica Lewinsky is a executive producer, so she's signing off on this stuff. Man, she is so freaking needy. Oh my Lord!
Yes,
and I'm sure that's probably the way she felt like she was acting at that time. But man. Like I said, it's hard to watch a little bit. It's just so cringy. I mean, really.
But I've known people like this, and they are so focused on, the dude, regardless, that, it's a true depiction of, people who kind of are in, but it's also people who are in these type of relationships. The married person dibbles out little bits of affection, and just when you're about to cut them off, they'll call you again. And I mean, it's so standard, like how these kind of relationships work. But I thought it was interesting. I didn't realize she was telling everybody. I mean, she was telling her friends.
Oh yeah.
She told Linda Tripp. She probably told the doorman. I mean, she wasn't keeping it secret at all. And one thing about these kind of relationships, they thrive on secrecy. So if you're going around telling people, whoever's the married person is going, especially older married person, they're going to be like, hey, you're out of here. But I thought it was really good that they had that speech from Clive Owen, who actually is terrible. I mean, his physicality as Clinton is just terrible. And I love me some Clive Owen, baby. But, this is not a good fit. I didn't think
he wasn't a good Clinton. He wasn't a good Clinton. I mean, he's
not
a
at
bad
all.
actor.
I don't get him as Clinton. I loved him in Inside Man. I loved him in like a bunch of his movies I've seen. This is not great, but I love that they had him say, when he found out about Bob Dole and how much of a point spread he had over him in Florida, it kind of took the wind out of his sail because he didn't have a fight, and he loved the fight. So I think that kind of gets into his character, that he's a person who just enjoys having conflict and coming out on top of the conflict. So I think we're going to see that when it happens to Monica, as she takes him on, he's going to show her that how much he loves to fight against people, and she's going to become the person he fights against. So, but I think that, Sarah Paulson, man, you can't even physically see her. They did such a good job. I mean,
right back into that suit, man.
Like 20 or 30 pounds, and then they did use a padded suit, to pad her. But the smarmy kind of oiliness of her, and just the, unlikability that she.
Oh God.
That's incredible. Who would want to be unlikable for all the time that she was doing this? I mean, just imagine. And at the time Linda Tripp was the most hated woman in America. I mean, it was a trip. But it's also, I like to
see what you did there.
Huh?
It was a trip. I saw what you did there.
But I thought it was also interesting the parallel with Paula Jones that they're doing. And
that's an interesting thing. Yeah. Well, and we were watching that, and Sherry pointed out that she's like, "Oh, that's the mom from Who's the Boss."
Yes.
I'm like, holy crap, it was.
Yeah. There are several people that you know. Ray Don Chong was in this episode. Judith Light. There were some other ones from like the 80s and 90s kind of people that were terrific and still are. So I just can't wait to see, who else is gonna come out in this. But I am interested in the story because it's an interesting look at Washington at that time. And once they get into, I'm pretty sure they'll probably get into the impeachment trials. That was just crazy around here. So definitely still check out the Impeachment American Crime Story. It's really interesting. Okay, so next we have, this is for you, my friend, Star Trek Lower Decks.
Mistress of the Winter Constellation. Okay, you gotta do this on the Cerritos.
Don't tell anyone. That's a name I left behind long ago.
I know. You can't tell me because I'm just an ensign.
Kalis's fornication helmet.
Oh, that's fun. Safety first.
A mission's only as important as you make it, Mariner.
Okay, Commander Protocol.
Hey, I wish I could be on a ship that's exploring and solving science mysteries instead of non-stop fighting.
Crates.
Wait, hold on. What's in them?
Limited edition Commander Data Bubble Bath.
You know what? This worked out pretty well. Everyone I actually like to socialize with is here.
Yeah, turns out this is the best party in the quadrant, right? Number one?
Right.
That's my number one. Now he has to grow a beard.
Okay.
Okay, get into it, Pat.
No, you go on. I love this show. It is such a great, because you know what? The thing is, you watch Star Trek. I've watched Star Trek since old school. I come through all of them. I've seen, Voyager, Discovery, Deep Space Nine, Next Gen, even Enterprise. I've seen them all, and I've watched all of them. And the thing is, there's got to be ships out there just doing grunt work.
Yeah,
I love the fact their big job is to go second contact, not first contact, second contact. We gotta go iron out the details on how they're gonna be in the Federation. I love that there are people, and this is even better because you're not seeing the bridge crew all the time. You're seeing the guys who have to go pick up the wrong stuff that's left in the Jeffries tube. They're the ones that have to move this or move that. They're just doing the dumb grunt work. Love it. It's delightful.
I'm still trying to get into it. I'm not as dismissive of it as I was when I first watched it. So I'm still making my way through it. And it did get better with time.
Yeah, it does. So, I like the characters too. I mean, the outrageous, let's just do whatever we're going to do. It's fun. Come on, because, there's always that person. And there's always protocol, that kind of fun. They've got some good characters, some nice character dynamics. The voice acting on it's pretty solid too. I like the Ensign Mariner's voice, Tandy. I can't remember what her last name is, but she's doing a heck of a job. I mean, it's really fun to watch. It is an absolute treat.
So tell us how you think. Do you really think?
I love it. Like I said, and like Pam alluded to, for those of you who don't know, I've been kind of pushing to get this on here for a couple of weeks now, because it's great instead of watching Paper Tigers or something like that.
Oh my God.
This is amazing. This is good stuff, man. We should be reviewing this every week. It's so good. But whatever.
So it's definitely something for the Trekkies, which we both are. And I will keep watching until I like it. I'm not 100% where Pat is, but it's definitely fun. It's definitely, I think it's interesting that the, what's his name? Quaid, Dennis Quaid's son's character.
Mm-hmm.
I sound like my mom, I'm sure, with, that actor I do, his Jack Quaid, I think. And he's in The Boys. That fantastic show, The Boys. He's in that. So
yeah.
So I'm waiting for him to come back. But I do like kind of the pop-ins of the Next Generation character.
Oh, yeah.
Jonathan Frakes was in the clip that we shown, and some of the others will make their debut, I'm sure.
Oh, God, let's see who else. Because you haven't got to the part where...
Did Picard show up?
No, they haven't had him yet.
What about Data or Geordi?
Who did they had? From Voyager, the Tom Paris. They had Tom Paris on there.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch that one.
You didn't watch Voyager?
No, it wasn't. Was Voyager. That the one with Janeway, right?
Yes.
I didn't like her for some reason.
She was the best part of it. What's wrong with you?
I just didn't take to her character.
She was always cool, calm, cool, collected. She is.
It's just something. I don't know what it is about. I don't know if it was her voice or I just couldn't connect with her as much as I could some of the other ones. But, people love it. So I'm not saying, don't watch it. It just wasn't one of my favorites.
I was always weirded out by the fact that the Voyager could actually land on a planet. That was always, I was like, that's kind of weird. Why even have a transporter then? I mean, but that was kind of weird. That was the only thing I didn't really ever get about it. And I thought it was an interesting thing, the idea that they'd gotten put way out of, Starfleet help, because everybody has always been in Starfleet. You can always call the admiral, and he'd send a ship over from the next quadrant or whatever, and help you, or they line up against the Laurentian system to go get the board or whatever. But they were so far away, they were just on their own, which I thought was it was interesting to see how the Starfleet ethos held up without the Starfleet support network. So I did enjoy Voyager because there was some weird stuff in it that I was not down with, but for the most part, I really did like it.
Yeah. And, about Lower Decks, it's an interesting dynamic because the main character is always kind of tripping her way into figuring out the problem. And Jack Quaid's character is just kind of, kind of thinking, hey, I would love to have this. And you just kind of have it, just automatically. And so there's that tinge of envy or jealousy that he has towards her character. And I just think that's a really interesting kind of twist in dynamics there, that a young kind of Black woman is the protagonist and the young white man is kind of jealous of what she has. So there's some male-female stuff, and then there's some kind of, there's no race in Star Trek, but it's just interesting looking at it.
There are species, though. There's no race, but there is species.
There is species. Crazy stuff going on with these species in this show. So definitely, I guess, Pat, give them your recommendation.
Oh, I love it.
Should they check it out or not?
Oh, definitely. If you ain't watching this, you're missing out. Yeah, you should definitely be watching this.
Definitely. And it's on its what season now?
Second
season. Okay.
Yeah, it's about midway through the second season. And all the second season has been really good, too. Just, keep going. Yeah. It's worth
it. So definitely check it out on, this one comes on Paramount TV.
Yeah.
So unless you I think Paramount Plus even, because they took over for CBS All Access. So I'm not sure if you can see Lower Decks in their free version or if it's only in the paid version. But if you can catch it, definitely catch Star Trek Lower Decks. Well, that kind of takes us to the end of our show. And tomorrow night, for one, is my anniversary. So happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
To Mr. PJamma Life. And it's also the Emmys. And so we'll check out all the great stuff that came out this year. We'll see what's done. And I don't think I had a chance to say that one thing I am pleased about in the Creative Arts Emmys, which they announced, is that Michael K. Williams received an Emmy for his work in Lovecraft Country. And he was such a beautiful, wonderful person and such a beautiful soul that he unexpectedly passed away last week, I believe. And so definitely send prayers to his family and all the great shows he was on. Boardwalk
Empire. Really good, super good.
He was on The Wire, Omar on The Wire, Lovecraft Country, just a ton, and Motherless Brooklyn. I mean, the guy was just an amazing actor. So we'll say goodbye to another great person, this year. We're losing too many greats. And so, if you can, hug the people around you, tell them you love them. Time's not, get assured to any of us. So take care of each other. And Pat, you want to say goodnight to the people?
I do, but I want to say something else too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have had a chance to watch the new trailer for Hawkeye.
Oh no, I haven't seen it.
The Hawkeye series, it's going to come out Thanksgiving Day. That's when the series starts.
Oh,
and it looks really, really interesting. I mean, you get to see the family. He's trying to come back from being Ronin. If you watch the trailer, you'll see it. I mean, it looks pretty solid. I'm pretty excited about that. I don't really like Jeremy Renner that much, to be honest, but I do like the character. I like, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, that was one that's coming out. But also next week, I believe what's coming out, Star Trek Visions. And so if that's coming out, Star Wars Visions, if that's coming out next week, we'll definitely review that along with What If and Impeachment, as well as Wonder Years, the new reboot of Wonder Years is coming out. So we'll definitely check out that. But definitely if Star Wars Visions come out next week, which I think it might come out next week, we'll review that. And if not, we'll review 9 Perfect Strangers on Hulu. So
maybe if I can get my co-host to go see Shang-Chi, it would be really awesome to review that, because I'm chomping to talk about that, but I can't get any of these other people to do it. So all those people out there watching, say messages, tell her to go watch the dang show, because I'm dying to talk about it.
Send me some text or send something in on the email to encourage me to go to a theater and see it right now. But we definitely will see you all next week. And as somebody said about LeVar Burton in his interview with Trevor Noah, just stay moisturized and unbothered. See you all next week on PJamma Life. Bye.
See you guys.